Alright guys, here we are in the good old studio atmosphere once again, doing a little bit more professional quality. There's no background of course, but you do see the pedals on the floor. This is going to be the last in the Joyo pedals video review, and this is going to also be considered my MXR review of the MXR Prime Distortion, which I never did really do one because I really couldn't get into the pedal that much. We're going to go into that today. And we're also going to go into, like I said, this is going to be my pretty much comparison between the Ultimate Drive and the Prime Distortion. Now, over here, you'll see right there is an amp. That's my PV Viper amp. This is the Viper 15. It's not the VIP series. It's the one that I have been using for quite a while now. I love this thing. Haven't been using it much since I've got my Digitech. Been using it on the computer. And since I've got the Ultimate Drive pedal, I decided to whip it out because the pedal that I have right now, you know what I think I'm going to do is kind of guide you along in this process. The not the pedal, but the amp I have now is a Crate GFX20. It is a digital amp. It's a DSP, Digital Sensory Perception. I think is what the DSP stands for. Now I'm using these pedals here, I think, are analog distortion, and the deal is with that, it does interrupt the signal. If you have a digital amp and you're using analog pedals, I've mentioned this before, that it's going to affect your tone a little bit. It's not going to be true to what it would be if you were using an analog amp. Well, if you look here, you can see that on the, to loosen that up just a hair, way I can turn a little more, you'll see a little bit here where you can actually that there is a trans tube distortion. It's an analog trans tube distortion there on the bottom. So this is an actual analog amp. So I'm going to be using this amp in comparison to the actual Crate amp as well. Okay, so I've got that out there so that I can kind of switch out back and forth, and I apologize if the camera is not exactly at the right angle it needs to be. For this test, I will be using my Ibanez RG4EX1. Love this baby. You've seen it on many hangouts so far, and you've seen it on many videos. So let's get started. I don't have a whole lot of battery life on this thing, so we'll go ahead and get started by saying let's go ahead and go through the Crate amp first. Now this is just the clean sound of the Crate. I'm going to use just a little bit of room reverb. If I can find it here. That's the arena reverb, and then we got a little room reverb. Okay, so no chorus, no anything, just a little reverb for the sake of not being, just a dead signal. Now, we're going to also compare these three pedals here, the Ibanez TS9. Yes, I do have my house shoes on, styling it and profiling it. Ibanez TS9 Tube Screamer, the Prime Distortion by MXR, and the Joyo Ultimate Drive. We're going to kind of compare all of them. So let's get started. Here's the clean tone. We're in key of A. And I do have a little bit of EQ set. I've got my low at about 2 o'clock, my mids at about 10 o'clock, and my highs at about 2 o'clock on the Crate GFX amp itself. So the low switch, the neck humbucker sounds like this. Okay. All right, let's get on with it. Here's what the Ibanez Tube Screamer sounds like. And I have the drive all the way up. I have the tone at about 1 to 2 o'clock. And I have the level at about 3 o'clock. You can see it adds quite a bit of overdrive, Tube Screamer type distortion. I'm not going to tweak with the knobs very much. I'm just going to give you an idea of what the different sounds are and the differences between the pedals in my review on these two so far. Put it on about the let's see, the neck and the or no, the bridge in the middle pickup position. Now there's quite a bit of hum on this, but that's because the distortion's engaged, okay? You're going to get a little bit of hum like that. So, now I'm not going to guarantee this guitar's in tune, but it's been staying in tune very well, so I haven't been messing with it that much. So that's the complete full-out humbucker on the bridge for this guitar, which has stock Infinity pickups. Back to the neck pickup. Okay, so that's the Ibanez Tube Screamer. Now you're going to hear, once again, this is all daisy chained on my godlike power supply. There's no 9-volt batteries connected whatsoever. So you're going to hear a lot of buzz, a lot of hiss from the Prime Distortion. Now I want to focus mainly on these two pedals. You're going to hear a lot of that from the Prime Distortion. I'm not sure exactly if it is from the fact that all these circuits and everything are connected. I mean, if you've seen my two, I don't know if you've ever seen the two power things that I've got going on. So let's just go ahead and have a look at what I'm looking at back here. So I'll give you an idea. This is all of the stuff that's connected, okay? You have two surge protectors that's going to go through the power supply from my wah pedal, and also now the PV Viper's plugged in. You have the power supply to my crate effects pedal and the godlike power supply, which is in the back there, that long one spot strip there. It's powering all these pedals. So all of that, one surge protector is connected to the other one, and all of that is leading back to, as you can see behind my curtain back here. So everything is together. So that is going to cause a little bit of humming and things like that. So you just kind of got to overlook that. Because I've actually played with this pedal by itself. I'm referring to the MXR. I've played with this pedal by itself on this PV Viper, and it didn't have near as, you know, the hum. And what I mean by hum is this. Hear that high-pitched squeal? That is probably a 60 cycle hum from the actual chain of everything that's plugged into the same outlet. So I don't want you to listen to that part. I want you to listen to the tone of the pedal, okay? Right now I have it at the output at about 3 o'clock. The tone, which is the top button, that is around 11 o'clock, 11 and a half. And the distortion is all the way to the max. Now, you have seen the review on this, not the review, but the demo with a backing track called Sailing on this MXR pedal. And also I invite you to check out my first impressions of this pedal, so you can kind of get an idea of what the tone sounds like. But here's what I want you to pay attention to is the tone. Now once again, here's the Tube Screamer sound in the key of A. Humbucker is on the, or the toggle switch is on the neck humbucker. Now let's compare it to, this is not an overdrive like these two are. This is a distortion pedal. Okay, so that is very, to me, very, and I don't know how to describe this other than hissy and scratchy. And when I mean scratchy, I mean like nails on a chalkboard, as far as it's got that really bite to it. And that's with the tone fairly back. If I took the tone and moved it back even further, we'd still hear a little bit of that tone, that scratchy sounding. And now I've got it back to about 9 o'clock. Now let's hear it. Sounds a little bit better. Once again, there's that hiss. I think it has to do with the actual chain though. And if we boost the knob of the tone up a little bit, about 9 o'clock. Okay, now it does sound good, but I don't like that. Like I said, it's got a scratchy sound to it. I mean, it's got some power to it. You can hear that. Here's the difference. That's with the drive all the way up on the Ibanez, okay? On the Tube Screamer. Now we have the MXR. Okay, turn the distortion down a little bit. Notice how the hiss goes down a little bit when you turn the distortion down. I mean, it's got a good tone to it, a good sound to it, but like I said, it's a little too over the top for me almost. Now if we turn it down, you see it does clean up quite nicely. But still a lot of distortion to that. Okay, now once again, let's hear these two with the wah engaged so you can kind of see how the wah is filtered a little bit through this. Okay, now the MXR. Okay, so it's all right. You know, it's there. Okay, so now let's try the Ultimate Drive. Okay, I've got the level quite a bit down because this pedal has some juice to it. Let me tell you, this level is right over here. Notice it's not even halfway up, and it has the gain. Here's the gain here, and here's the tone, and so this is where I left it the last time I played around with it. So we'll just kind of tweak it as we go along. But here's once again Ibanez Tube Screamer, MXR. Okay, and now we engage the Ultimate Drive. Okay, so now there's very little of that hiss. Here's a lot of it. A real high-pitched whistling sound. There's a little bit of it here. Hardly none of it there. There's a little hum, but not that high-pitched squealing sound. All right, so that's with the tone up quite a bit. Once again, the level is backed off. If I turn the level up all the way like these other two are, here's what it would go. Okay, so save both of our ears will not do that. This has a lot of power. It's a very, as you've seen in the other pedal reviews of the Joyo Ultimate Drive, it's a very, very compressed, clean distortion overdrive. It's not got a lot of wildness to it, a lot of that scratchy out of this, you know, wild and non-contained sound. One thing I want to point out about the MXR here is every note I pick, it's got a buzz to it. It's got that bzzz, you know, that sound to it, every note. Okay, so it has that's one thing I don't like about it. Yes, it's responsive, it's dynamic, but it has that buzzy sound to that fuzz sound, for lack of a better word. It's a fuzzy sound that I don't like on distortion. I like it to be crisp, I like it to be clean and clear, and that's what the Joyo Ultimate Drive is. Okay, so let's turn the gain up a little bit, and you can hear just exactly what this thing has on it. I'm going to turn the tone down just a tad, leave it on the high switch, and now we can hear some very nice compression, smooth distortion sound. Once again, it's very dynamic. It responds to your playing. That's without me rolling off the volume at all. It completely responds to my playing. Roll the volume back a little bit. that's something totally off the cuff. I was just messing around there. I don't even know what I was playing. But now that's with the volume backed off, like I said. Throw up the volume. Got a lot of punch, a lot of volume. It is an overdrive pedal. It's bordering on a distortion pedal. Once again, it doesn't have the nice, I don't know, it doesn't have the staying quality that some of the higher, dollar distortion pedals do. What I mean by staying quality is that you can, the sustain when you're playing all the extra notes, they seem to last a little bit longer. They seem to keep their volume. Whereas with a distortion pedal, it's actually distorted. They seem to stay there a little bit longer. In other words, they seem to be a little smoother, and the volume lasts longer. Okay, so flip it down to the low switch, it gets a little lower. Let's try it with the wah pedal, once again on the high. See how clean it is compared to the MXR Prime Distortion. Once again, if you want an even cleaner and a higher harmonic wah, you're going to flick your 5-way switch all the way to the bridge pickup. It's just going to define the wah pedal a lot better. Now notice when I engage this pedal, it's not as clear. I'm going to go back up to the neck position. It's not as clear. It's kind of muffled. You don't hear a distinct wow sound. It's just you can hear the frequencies change, but it's not a distinct wah sound until I go to the bridge position. Now, if I'm going to get a pedal, I want the wah to be distinct, and it's not with the MXR Prime Distortion, but with the Ultimate Drive, however, it is. Okay, so once again, those are all 3 pedals. Now let's try it plugged into the PV. Okay, so give me just a second here, and we'll plug it into the PV, which is an actual analog distortion amp. All I have to do is disengage that and engage this. Now we have the PV coming out. I think there might be a little reverb. Okay, so we have some reverb. Hope everybody can hear that. I'm not going to turn it up because it does get very loud, especially with these other pedals here. But once again, the Ultimate Drive has a little bit more of a smoother sound. It's not as wild and out of control. It has a more compressed, smoother sound. And eventually I will probably get a better distortion pedal to replace this one. But right now I'm not into the whole fuzz, you know, making my notes sound all not defined. Okay, I mean that's just hard to explain what I'm trying to say. But so let's hear these pedals on the actual PV Viper, see what they sound like. Here's the Ibanez Tube Screamer, and what I do is I would advise you to go back and listen to these in order. If I'm doing the Tube Screamer now, go back and listen to the Tube Screamer on the digital amp. Okay, back and forth. Since this does have analog distortion, it should have a way to not filter this, but allow the analog signal to come through. At least that's my understanding. Let's go get a little twang here. A natural overdrive sounding pedal. Once again, the MXR has that hissing sound. I can't figure out if that's just the sound of the pedal. It might be a defect, I don't know, or if it does have something to do with the frequency in the, you know, the daisy chain. But hear what it sounds like on an analog amp. Spot. It is cleaned up just a hair, not by much, but it does sound better definitely on the PV Viper. That was the bridge position. Now we're back up to the neck position. Okay, now let's listen to each individual note. It is quite a bit less fuzzy than on the crate. Ultimate Drive. Turn up the tone a little bit. Once again, the level is, you know, not even halfway. This pedal has some power to it. Back it off a little more, it's basically rattling the speaker here. Play G a little bit. Once again, the wah pedal with MXR. Once again though, it does make it more fuzzy when I engage the wah. So guys, I mean, there's not really much more I can say about this, other than I do like, really, this Ultimate Drive pedal by Joyo. I will probably later on get me a more of a distorted tone for 80s lead sounding. Now Joyo has some other pedals for that. They've got a high gain distortion, so I may actually end up getting that as well. They've got a crunch distortion. It looks similar to the MXR Prime Distortion, but it no doubt probably sounds a little better. The notes sound a lot more controlled, they're a lot more smooth, they're a lot more compressed. Whereas the Prime Distortion, to me, is just a little out of control. The notes are a little fuzzy, and it's very staticky sounding. So that's just my opinions on these two pedals. The Ibanez was just just there to hear the difference between them. Now let's hear the difference between the Ibanez real quick and the Joyo, because both of these are overdrive pedals. Here's the Ibanez. And the Joyo again. Me, it sounds even smoother than the Ibanez there. Once again, you can play around with all these different settings here. You can go to the low setting, turn the tone up a little bit. How about backing the gain off? See what we get there. Now if you got it on low there, you can bump the tone to kind of make up the difference. And you can use your bridge pickup there too as well. that nice deep tone. If I back the tone to about 12 o'clock with the switch on low, turn the gain up, leave the level down. So that's very deep, very dark. You can get a lot more out of this because of the switch and because of the huge range that you have in level. And you know, it's just, these knobs are very smooth. You can definitely tell a change. So to me, guys, for 31 bucks, 33 bucks, you can't beat this pedal. I mean, the Joyo Ultimate Drive is amazing. MXR Prime Distortion just doesn't cut it for me. It's too out of control. That's the best way I know how to describe it. Too fuzzy. The notes are not very clear, especially with the wah pedal, as you saw, as you heard. Ibanez, it's a staple. I love this pedal. I got to keep it just because it's nice. If I want to do blues or something, and this is maybe a little too heavier, I still got this to fall back on, y'all. Obviously, you don't want to do that, but you can also, you know, once again, I didn't mention this the last video, but you can also use one of these, preferably an overdrive pedal, as a boost for your other pedals. So you would turn the gain all the way back, and the level would be louder, and so you can just boost up the Ibanez Tube Screamer. You could do that, or for a clean sound even. Okay, so all different kinds of things that you can use with this pedal. Guys, I really hope you appreciate this video. Really hope that you enjoyed it. I will definitely be demonstrating or messing around with some more of this pedal here. Feeding into one or two of these amps in the future for some videos, because I don't want to rely only on my Digitech RP355. Even though it has some killer tones, I want to start building my own pedal board, you know, in case, you know, I don't know, just for my own pleasure, I guess. But thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button if you like this video. It's I know it's been a little long here. Probably not going to edit this one because it went kind of smoothly. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like, rate, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff so that everybody else can enjoy this content. And if you want to order any of these pedals, if you like the sound of those and want to order them, please check out my Amazon link below in the show notes, in the show more area of the YouTube page video here. And Amazon, it is an affiliate link, which whenever you purchase through Amazon using that link, it does help support me in these videos and the work that I do to make these videos possible to you and to make my products available to you. And I appreciate your support of this channel through that if you decide to do that. If not, that's okay too. Totally your decision. And thank you so much for watching. God bless and have a wonderful rest of your day.